trip to Afar region. The Afar language is an Afro-Asiatic language belonging to the Cushitic branch. It is spoken by the Afar people in Djibouti, Eritrea, and Ethiopia. The Afar Triangle, also called the Afar Depression, is a geological depression caused by the Afar Triple Junction, which is part of the Great Rift Valley in East Africa. The Afar region covers the northeastern part of Ethiopia. The Afar Depression, also known as the Danakil Depression, forms the northern part of the region and is largely desert scrubland with shallow salty lakes and long chains of volcanoes. The Afar region covers the northeastern part of Ethiopia. The Afar Depression, also known as the Danakil Depression, forms the northern part of the region and is largely desert scrubland with shallow salty lakes and long chains of volcanoes. Afar, Amharic Adal, Arabic Danakil, singular, now pejorative, a people of the Horn of Africa who speak Afar, also known as Afar AF, a language of the Eastern Cushitic branch of the Afro-Asiatic language family. They live in northeastern Ethiopia, southeastern Eritrea, and Djibouti, where, with the Issas, they are the dominant people. It is thought that the Afar were the first of the present inhabitants of Ethiopia to elaborate their pastoral life into full-scale nomadism, descending from the highlands of southeast Ethiopia and migrating to the stony desert area of Danakil, the name sometimes used by Arabs to identify them but which is now considered to be offensive. Afar region, formerly known as Region 2, is a regional state in northeastern Ethiopia and the homeland of the Afar people. Its capital is the planned city of Simera, which lies on the paved Awash-Asab highway. My trip to Afar region. Distance from Afar to Addis Ababa is 387 kilometers. The air travel, bird fly, shortest distance between Afar and Addis Ababa is 387 km equals 240 miles. How far is it from Addis Ababa to Afar region? The distance between Addis Ababa and Afar region is 390 kilometers. The Afar Triangle, the northern part of which is the Danakil Depression, is part of the Great Rift Valley of Ethiopia, and is located in the north of the region. It has the lowest point in Ethiopia and one of the lowest in Africa. The Afar region covers the northeastern part of Ethiopia. The Afar Depression, also known as the Danakil Depression, forms the northern part of the region and is largely desert scrubland with shallow salty lakes and long chains of volcanoes. The Afar, Kafar, also known as the Danakil, Adali, and Odali, are an ethnic group inhabiting the Horn of Africa. They primarily live in the Afar region of Ethiopia and in northern Djibouti, as well as the entire southern coast of Eritrea. The Afar speak the Afar language, which is part of the Cushitic branch of the Afro-Asiatic family. About the Afar region. This is a list of the 34 wardas, or districts, and 5 city administration in the Afar region of Ethiopia. The Afar region covers the northeastern part of Ethiopia. The Afar Depression, also known as the Danakil Depression, forms the northern part of the region and is largely desert, whilst the Awash River Valley forms the southern part of the area. Nomadic pastoralism is the traditional form of subsistence for the Afar, although some coastal Afar are fishers. Livestock consists of goats, sheep, and camels where the terrain is suitable, and some cattle in a few places. The Afar region covers the northeastern part of Ethiopia. The Afar Depression, also known as the Danakil Depression, forms the northern part of the region and is largely desert scrubland with shallow salty lakes and long chains of volcanoes. Afar are a cross-border community of pastoralists who live in and herd livestock in adjacent parts of Ethiopia, Eritrea, and Djibouti. An estimated 1.3 million, 2007 national census, Afar live in Ethiopia, with smaller populations residing in adjacent countries. These Hamitic people are primarily Sunni Muslim.
They speak Afar and Arabic. Afar society is governed by a clan system and a traditional ruler, the Sultan of Afar. The home region of the Afar people, spanning international borders, is one of the most remote and harsh in the Horn of Africa with extreme temperatures and minimal access to water. The region also has traditionally been marginalized by government, with the people having minimal access to even the most basic of services. The Afar region has a long history of inter-clan conflict, and was significantly affected by the creation of an independent Eritrea. The border between Ethiopia and Eritrea has regularly been a cause of conflict in the region. Afar pastoralists do not eat meat on a daily basis, and they are characterized by their only eating meat for special occasions. On the contrary, their raw milk and butter oil consumption is high. They drink raw camel milk every day and use raw milk and butter oil in daro and gagaida, which are consumed often. Several rebel groups operate in the region, including the Afar Liberation Front, ALF. At the time of its inception, the ALF leader, Ali Mira Anfara, declared that the ALF's goal would be to establish an independent Islamic state for Afar. Its boundaries were to be decided on the basis of Afar ethnic habitation, including the Awash River Basin and neighboring territories, and the southern part of Eritrea. Mengistu's creation of an autonomous province of Assab did nothing to settle the Afar issue, since the most fertile land in the Awash Valley remained in Amhara control. The ALF has an uneasy relationship with the Ethiopian People's Revolutionary Democratic Front, EPERDF. The latter organized a seminar of the Afar Democratic Union in 1990, suggesting it was trying to build an alternative to the ALF. Under the 1994 constitution, Afar became one of Ethiopia's 9 regional states. A substantial part of Afar's reluctance to accept an independent Eritrea is a result of their unwillingness to see their people divided by state boundaries. During the border war with Eritrea, Afar people on both sides of the border were caught in the middle. The two states encouraged Afar rebel movements in the other, Ethiopia supporting the Afar Revolutionary Democratic Union in Eritrea, and Eritrea supporting the ALF and the Afar People's Democratic Organization in Ethiopia. The Afar region is primarily arid or desert and is extremely susceptible to severe drought. Regular cycles of drought lead to humanitarian emergencies and increased conflict in the region. However, government response is often slow, and assistance from international organizations is limited because of the extreme conditions and security concerns in the region. The majority of Afar people live in the Afar region of Ethiopia, although there are significant minorities in neighboring Eritrea and Djibouti. The population is largely rural and pastoralist. Afar is the principal language of the region and Islam, Sunni, the principal religion. The region is well known for its early hominid fossil finds including Lucy, an Australopithecus afarensis, discovered in 1974, who lived about 3.2 million years ago, and more recently in the summer of 2007 the discovery of hominid remains 3.5 to 3.8 million years old. The Afar subsistence economy depends on livestock, especially goats, some camels, and, more rarely, cattle. There are some exceptions, such as fishermen in the coastal areas and agriculturalists in the Assa Oasis. The Afar also mine and export salt. Proud, highly individualistic, and much feared by outsiders, they are organized in patrilineal kin groups. Cooperation in larger units such as a subtribe or tribe is induced only by warfare against other tribes or neighboring peoples. Two distinct classes, the Asamara, red men, and the Adoimara, white men, constitute the landowning, titled nobles, and the lower class tenants, respectively. Age sets exist wherein people of the same age group are subject to a chief who settles disputes among them. Beyond this, legal procedure consists of the rules for compensation for adultery, a system of fines to the injured husband or father, and revenge for homicide. Blood feuds are a principal, perennial, and costly occupation, except among the few sultanates, notably at Assa, in which despotic law is backed up with an army. The Afar are nominally Muslim, but a minimal level of orthodoxy in practice is attained only in the coastal regions and in the sultanates. The nomads of the interior are lax, and, though they hold Islam in great esteem, their own practices are imbued with the earlier Cushitic religion. Afar people have traditionally practiced Islam. They also believe in the spirits of ancestors, which is evident by a yearly feast called Rabina, which means Feast of the Dead. The Afar people live in small shelters that can be easily disassembled and reassembled to fit their nomadic pastoralist lifestyles. Afar tribe. In addition, the Afar are reputed for their martial prowess. Men traditionally carry the jile, a famous curved knife. They also have an extensive repertoire of battle songs. The Afar are mainly livestock holders, primarily raising camels but also tending to goats, sheep, and cattle. It is thought that the Afar were the first of the present inhabitants of Ethiopia to elaborate their pastoral life into full-scale nomadism, descending from the highlands of southeast Ethiopia and migrating to the stony desert area of Danakil, the name sometimes used by Arabs to identify them. Afar is a poetic and old-fashioned way to say far away or distant. If your summer visitors have traveled from afar, they've come a long way to see you, and if your boyfriend moves to Australia, you might have to continue your relationship from afar. According to Sarah Bridge of the Daily Mail, slathering butter on hair and scalp started as a wedding tradition for a number of Ethiopian tribes like the Afar, Borana, and Hamar. It serves as a way to protect their scalp from the sun, keep their afros and dreadlocks in place, and is seen as a blessing. End of my trip. Thank you for watching.
Yeah.